Alok, who- Alok who has taken a vow of appreciating Vaishnavas in Kartik. So I have become his, I'm become today. I think for today he has fulfilled his vow through me. Thank you for your gracious introduction. So very grateful for this opportunity to speak about Bhagavad Gita with all of you. And we were also very fortunate to have our Bhakti Shastri prominently by his guest Vamshivandan Prabhuji. And of course, for Bhakti Shastri, our Chaitanya whose notes are Chaitanya Charanpu's lectures are also very, very wonderful. So whatever we have tried to learn from our Bhakti Shastri and Chaitanya whose lectures, and also from our some practices in the ashram with devotees, we like to share with all of you. We are also very, very fortunate that this kind of forum has started for all of you, where all of you have this opportunity to come together and being connected to the same temple and again to have some hearing from from the devotees whom you have seen from your voice life. It's a very wonderful thing which has started and uh, so yeah, and you're also very fortunate to have your first unit by Hari Kripa Prabhu. Hari Kripa who is my one of my very good friends. We are from the same college, same batch, and I can tell you for sure that he is the one in our ashram who has read most number of books. Very philosophical minded, and I was a little afraid because he might have set up very high standard of the Shastri. I was afraid. Anyways, yesterday I met with him and asked him how he's taking and all those things. So I would like to follow the same way, almost same time of Skype. Thank you for the opportunity. I'll go. So we are going to begin with the chapter number 4, 5, and 6. This is what we have to learn. And so this online mode, what I have done is uh, I have extracted the fourth chapter from our Veda base and some notes points I have put into that only. So my request to all of you, while we will going through, I will show you that only. We'll read shlokas from that translation and purport, some part of the purpose, and we'll try to have some discussions. So, so I have written some note points in the word file itself. So please don't get hooked into it. Rather than that, try to hear what we are going to discuss from him. Maybe towards the end, I can share that notes with you also. That should be also great. So just let me start. This is the chapter number 4. The name of the chapter is Transcendental Knowledge. Right? My skin is visible to you, right?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, but
Okay, fine. So transcendental knowledge means Divya Gyan. Divya Gyan. So, see, in the previous chapter, Krishna was speaking about the Karma Yoga, and Krishna brought to the point of Nishkam Karma Yoga, and towards the end of the last chapter, all of them might have seen that Krishna was speaking that how lust is the cause of the bondage for the jivas in this world, and Krishna was also towards the end, Krishna was also revealing what is the way by which we can come out of the bondage of the lust, and Krishna told that how by regulation of our senses and by cultivation of spiritual intelligence, which means by cultivation of spiritual knowledge in our life, we can come out of the effect of the lust. We can give up the bondage to the lust. Now, this is the link. Krishna just spoke that how by transcendental knowledge or by transcendental intelligence or the intelligence which is fixed upon the transcendental knowledge, by fixing our mind upon that knowledge, we can get out of the effect of the lust in our life. So now, what is that transcendental knowledge that Krishna is now beginning in this chapter? He's going to describe about that Divya Gyan or the transcendental knowledge, understanding which and by fixing one's mind upon which one can easily get rid of the effects of the lust, the bondage of the lust. This is the one link. And if you talk about the previous chapters, so till now Krishna has spoken about the Karma Yoga, and now Krishna has also spoken about the Nishkam Karma Yoga. Now that beautiful detached work. And if somebody performs Nishkam Karma Yoga, that is dutiful, detached work, then what will happen is there will be awakening of the spiritual knowledge. There will be awakening of the Gyan. Gyan means the Divya Gyan, the knowledge about the soul, the knowledge about the God, the knowledge of the relationship with the Lord. So this is the connection that, how in the previous chapters till now Nishkam Karma Yoga was being spoken, and the fruit of the Nishkam Karma Yoga is the transcendental knowledge. So that is what is being going to be spoken in this particular chapter of the book. What is the transcendental knowledge, right? So what is the glory of this Divya Gyan? What is the way to get this knowledge? And what is this transcendental knowledge? These things will be spoken in this chapter. My voice is audible, no? Clear, right?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, fine. This is a small overview of the chapter. Somebody has shown. There are total 5 sections here. So first 10 verses are talking about Krishna is teaching and establishing the dharma. Krishna is telling that why he comes in this world, and also how this knowledge is coming. Krishna is establishing about it, because dharma is the way by which one can get out of the bondage of the lust. So now Krishna is first speaking about what is that dharma. No? And then 11 to 15th verse, Krishna is going to speak about it how he is the goal and he is the creator of all the paths, the different paths which are there for self-realization, how he is the creator of all those. And he is ultimately the goal of all of them. And then Krishna is going to speak, verse 16 to 24. Krishna is going to speak to Arjuna that how, for you, the best dharma will be performing Nishkam Karma Yoga. He's establishing Karma Yoga as a dharma for Arjuna. And then 25th to 30th Shloka, Krishna is going to speak about different sacrifices. What are the different yagyas by which one can cultivate spiritual knowledge? One can cultivate the jnana. And towards the end, Krishna is speaking about the glory of the Divya Gyan, this knowledge. What is the method, what is the result, and what is the glory of this transcendental knowledge? What will be the outcome if somebody will understand this Divya Gyan, this transcendental knowledge, and what will be the outcome that Krishna is going to describe towards the end. Let us begin the first shloka. In the first section is about first 4 shlokas. Krishna is explaining about the lineage, the parampara, in which this Divigyan is coming. Very famous shloka. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Imam Vivasvate Yogam Proktavan Aham Avyayam Vivasvan Manave Praha Manot Ikshvakave Abraved. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha means Lord Krishna said, Imam Vivasvate Yogam. Yoga means what? Yoga. Yoga means the science of relationship with the Supreme. So this yoga, I have spoken this yoga to who? Vivashvan. Who is Vivashvan? Vivashvan is a sun god, or you can say the king of the sun planet. So this yoga was being Proktavan, Aham. I have spoken. Proktavan means spoken. Aham means I. I spoke this yoga to Vivashvan. And what is the nature of this yoga? This is Avyayam. This knowledge of the yoga, it is avyayam. Avyayam is which is imperishable, which does not get destroyed, which is permanent. And then Vivashvan Manve Praha. The Vivashvan, he spoke to Manu. He spoke to the Vivashvat Manu. Because we know about it how in the Brahmaji's one day, in 12 hours, once in the daytime, now there are some 1,000 Divya Yogas. Right? This combined together, Satyuga, Treta Yoga, Dwapar Yoga, and Kaluga together, this constitutes a Divya Yoga. And likewise, there are some 1,000 Divya Yogas in the day of Brahmaji. And in the night, what happens? Brahmaji takes rest. There's no creation. There's there's nothing. Only in the daytime there are these cycles are there. Here it is mentioned. See, so those 1,000 cycles are divided into 14 phases. Each of the phases are called as the Manvantar. And in each Manvantar, all the demigods and all this changes. Or you can say the whole universe changes with each Manvantar. Like every Manvantar is a fresh creation, you can say. Right? So like that, there are some 14 Manus. Manus are the rulers of each of the Manvantar. And right now, what we have, the Manu of the current Manvantara is the Vivashvat Manu. Vivash, no, Vivashwan is the sun god, and the Vivashvat is the Manu. So here it is told that how the sun god he gave this knowledge to the Vivashvat Manu. And then Manu gave it to Ikshvaku. The Manu, he gave this knowledge to Ikshvaku Vansh. It was the dynasty of the sun god. There are generally two dynasties. There is a dynasty coming from the sun god, and there is another dynasty coming from the moon. Chandra Vansh and Surya Vansh, what we say. Lord Ramchandra appeared in the Ikshvaku. So then Manu, he gave on the earth planet, he gave it to Ikshvaku. That is being spoken here. So now here one thing you see, uh, just previous to this shloka, Krishna was speaking that how if you have to get out of the bondage of the lust, then you have to situate yourself on the spiritual knowledge or the spiritual intelligence. All of a sudden, how this that Krishna started describing about this parampara system that I gave this knowledge to this Vivashwan and Vivashwan gave to Manu. What is the connection? It is being spoken that how Krishna is Krishna has spoken the knowledge that you have to come out of the bondage of the lust. The way for is the way for it is by cultivation of the spiritual knowledge or the spiritual jnana. Now Krishna is telling that how this knowledge is not something which is born out suddenly by which is not born out of Krishna suddenly. No, this knowledge is already prevailing. This is not manufactured knowledge. This is already prevailing. This knowledge is already given by Krishna from the beginning of the creation. And that is what Krishna is explaining that how this knowledge was prevalent earlier also. And the same knowledge I'm going to give you today. That's what that's what the link is. Some part of so see the personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna said, I instructed this imperishable science of yoga to the sun god Vivashwan, and the Vivashwan instructed it to Manu, the father of mankind, and the Manu in turn instructed it to Ikshvaku. So see the thing is this is imperishable knowledge. Why this imperishable knowledge? Because see the lust is a problem for all the jivas. Lust is a common problem for everyone, and it needs to be conquered. So this problem is there from the beginning of the creation. Jivatmas have come in this world to fulfill their independent desires. That's why this knowledge is also prevalent from the beginning to help the Jivatmas come out of the effect of the lust. So on the purport, Prabhupada is mentioning about why this knowledge was given to these rulers, these kings, like sun god. He's a ruler of the sun planet, and so, and same as this Vivashvat Manu, he's also the ruler of this particular Manvantar. And Ikshvaku was also the king of the Raghu dynasty. So this knowledge was given, no, say it, Imam Vivashvat, this knowledge is given to the kings. So Prabhupada is explaining about this thing in the purport. Prabhupada is mentioning the kings of all the planets are especially meant for the protection of the inhabitants, and therefore the royal order should understand the science of Bhagavad Gita in order to be able to rule the citizens and protect them from the mortal bondage to lust. So, especially the rulers who are there, it is their responsibility also. See, individual's responsibility is also there that he has to work upon one's lust, one has to give up one's lust. But it is also the responsibility of the leaders or the rulers to make such kind of culture, to make such kind of system that people can get eradicated of their lust. That is one. That's why this knowledge is being given to the rulers, so that they can form such kind of systems by which everyone can progress towards getting free from the bondage of lust. As Gopal is mentioning, human life is meant for cultivation of the spiritual knowledge in eternal relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the executive heads of all the states and all the planets are obliged to impart this lesson to the citizens by education, culture, and devotion. In other words, the executive heads of all the states are intended to spread the science of Krishna consciousness so that the people may take advantage of this great science and pursue a successful path utilizing the opportunity of the human form of life. So, so the rulers, they're obliged to give this knowledge to the citizens because the citizens are dependent upon the rulers. So, and how they can impart this knowledge? By the means of education, by the means of culture, by the means of devotion. These are the three ways. Right? For example, like education. So the rulers can set up what? The rulers can inspire the Brahmanas, or they can assist the Brahmanas, or they can give some facilities to the Brahmanas, who can preach about the Bhagavad Gita, about Srimad Bhagavatam. That is what the Vedic kings will do. The Vedic kings now also we find there are many big temples are there. If you go to the South India, you have Srirangam temple. You go to Anantapadmanabh in Kerala, you have big temple there. Go to Nathdwara, there's another temple there. You go to Vrindavan, there are so many temples, Radha Govindji, Radha Madan Mohanji. So the Kshatriyas will make such kind of will give facilities by which the Brahmanas can do preaching. People can come to big temples, they can have nice satsang there, etc. And same way culture, like culture of festivities. Hmm. The rulers will inspire the people to celebrate the festivals in a very grand manner. It is how everyone will participate in the uh, uh, will participate in those kind of festivals, setting up the temples, uh, helping the brahmanas to do preaching, giving them the facilities, etc. All these are the means by which the rulers will ensure that how people get this knowledge and they get free from the bondage of the lust. This was what was there. You see here one important point. Brahmanas and the Kshatriyas tie up is very important to spread the spiritual culture. This tie up, Brahmanas means the intellectual class and Kshatriyas, they're the administrator class. So for any philosophy or for any school of thought to propagate or to spread, there is always a need of tie-up of these two people, the intellectual people and the administrative people. Like even if you see the communism philosophy, the communists were able to initially this Karl Marx and some of them they came out with this idea of communism. And then later on, when some of the administrative people like Lenin, if you see the history, Lenin was one person. So, so when these people showed interest, they accepted this communist philosophy. Then what happened is they spread it on a very big level. At one point of time, the entire USSR, what we know now as Russia and all, so they were under the communist regime. How it happened because some intellectuals they gave some school of thoughts, and then some administrative kind of people, Kshatriya kind of people, they accept it, and once they accept it, then they can propagate on a very big level. Same way, no. So even to spread the spiritual culture or the spiritual knowledge also, this type tie-up is very much needed. That is how we find the Buddhism also spread around the entire world. Because Ashoka he became Christian, he became Buddhist, and then he spread Buddhism all around. He sent his own son, someone to the Sri Lanka, someone to Myanmar, and that's how the Buddhism spread. Similarly, Christianity. The initial origin of Christianity was not very well received. There was so much opposition from the Romans. But later on, when the one of the Roman kings, when he himself became a follower of Christianity, then the Christianity spread like anything. Now we find that how a major part of the world Christianity is there. You find. The same way in our scriptures we find Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was able to impress Prataparudra Maharaj. And because of that, Pratapruta Maharaj was very happily facilitating facilitating all the preaching activities of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was giving so much facilities for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So it's very important that how there has to be a very nice tie-up between the Kshatriyas and the Brahmanas. Brahmanas, they are like the head, Kshatriyas are like the arms. This combination can very powerfully help in spreading of the spiritual culture, spiritual knowledge. And another thing to note here that how Krishna is also giving this knowledge to the kings, right? Because they are the leaders, they have a big influence. So that's why Prabhupada was, if you see Prabhupada's life also, Prabhupada went to the Bauri, headquarter of the Maya, and he was trying to give the knowledge to the hippies. So Prabhupada was open to give this knowledge to everyone. But you'll find still Prabhupada, whenever there were occasions when some leaders will come to meet Prabhupada, whether some politicians or some philosophers or some scientists, then Prabhupada will all the more show very special interest into them. Because if they can become convinced about the philosophy, about the culture, then they can influence lots of people. So when we are also doing our preaching, one lesson for us in our preaching, how we should also focus upon the leaders of the society. Because if the leaders accept this knowledge, then see, because the reason is we all have very limited time and energy with us. We all have a limited capacity with us. So in that limited capacity, what best we can do is if we can if we can give our time and energy for cultivation of some big shots, some leaders, some influencers, then what happens? Then the Krishna consciousness can propagate in a very fast manner. Many times some people think that array, my spawn is just preaching to the rich people or only educated people. Why this kind of discrimination? You will find that we don't discriminate like that. Like in our temple, you will never find that you have a security guard who is telling that okay, only educated people can come inside or only rich people can come inside. No, that's not the case. The case is what that we want to make sure that whatever little capacity we do have, we try to use it in the best possible manner. And that can happen by giving this knowledge to the leaders of the society. Somebody is having opulence of knowledge, let us say. If somebody is very scientist, very intellectual. If you make him a devotee, then he can have a very big influence. Somebody is very famous, some actor or actresses. If they accept a Krishna consciousness, then they can also inspire a lot of their followers. If some cricketer becomes a devotee, he can also inspire many people. So it's about prioritization, So there's no discrimination like that, but we are more precise. We are very precise enough. We try to be very precise in our efforts so that we can have maximum outreach. And that is the mode of Prabhupada, and that is the mode of Krishna also, you'll find. Krishna is also taking into consideration this fact. He is open, he is giving this knowledge for everyone's sake, but especially he is trying to give it to the administrator class, the rulers, so that they can impart it to the bigger mass of the people. Right? One analogy I heard from I've heard it. I suppose if there's a war happening, so now suppose you have a medical team to take care of the wounded soldiers. So now suppose there are some soldiers who are highly wounded. They have very least chance of being saved. And on the other hand, you have some other less wounded soldiers, let us say. So now suppose if you are on a medical mission, such kind of place, to the war field, where you have the opposite. So now what you should choose, your first priority will be to first save those who are less wounded people. Because anyways, those who are more wounded people, they may anyways, they may not survive also. And on the other hand, in trying to save them, these people may become more wounded. Those who are less wounded, they may become more wounded actually. It's simply like a prioritization. These people can be saved, and they can also help to save those more wounded people also. That's called as a prioritization. In our preaching also, we do prioritize, and that is in line with the mode of Krishna. Then Prabhupada is mentioning about that how sun is like the eye of sun is like the eye of Krishna. Brahma Samhita quotes Prabhupada is mentioning about this. The sun is also called as the king of the planets because it controls other planets by the supplying of the heat and the light. And just like the sun is supplying the light to the entire universe, the same way Krishna is also giving this light of knowledge to the sun god. Because sun is the one who can give light to everyone. So it is there. And then other Prabhupada is also mentioning about the history of the Gita. Uh, so from Mahabharata, Prabhupada is quoting about this. This shloka is there. So some details are there. It's very simple to understand. Anyways, just I will read it out. In the Mahabharata, this is mentioned. In the beginning of the millennium known as the Treta Yuga, this science of the relationship with the Supreme was delivered by Vivasvan to Manu. The beginning of Treta Yuga, this was being given to the Vivasvat Manu. Vivasvan to Vivasvat Manu. Okay. Manu, being the father of mankind, gave it to his son Maharaj Ikshvaku, the king of this earth planet, and the forefather of the Raghu dynasty in which Lord Ramchandra appeared. Therefore, Bhagavad Gita exists in human society from the time of Maharaj Ikshvaku. On the planet Earth, it was there from the time of Maharaj Ikshvaku. And when did he got this knowledge? He got he got this knowledge in the beginning of the Treta Yuga that is being spoken here. Like if Prabhupada is also giving the calculation, right? Like if you calculate the age of Treta Yuga, now it is the Kali Yuga. Some 5,000 years have passed for Kali Yuga. So previous to this was the Dwapar Yuga, which was almost for 8,64,000 years. Prabhupada is writing about 8 lakh years. And before that, Treta Yuga is also of 12 lakh years. So now if you see the, the calculation, so 12 plus 8 is almost 20 lakh. So 20 lakh 5,000 years before this knowledge of the Gita came upon the earth planet. That is one calculation which has been spoken, that on this earth planet, it is existing from 20 lakh years before. And if you talk about the universe, in the universe, this knowledge was given to Vivaswan. That is The Vivashwan is the sun god. And the Vivashwan gave it to the Manu. Manu means the Vivashvat Manu. You know? So this Prabhupada is giving this calculation. See, uh, this is the 20 lakh years. Maharaj Ikshvaku's beginning from the Treta Yuga. Second, the statistics which is there. This is 12 crore 4 lakh years. This is the this is basically what how to calculate this. Yeah, I have shown here. Like, as I told you, see, the thousand yugas are divided into 14 manas. So each manu, or you say each manvanta is of almost 71 Divya Yuga. Now what currently we are in the Vavashvat Manu's time. And this is which Divya Yuga? This is 28th Divya Yuga. No, this is the afternoon of Brahmaji. Right? Almost this is the seventh manvantar of the day. Like there are total 14 manvantars. So this is the seventh manvantar of Brahmaji. And in that also the 28th Divya Yuga. So now you see, in the beginning of the manvantar, the new creation happens. The beginning of the manvantar, the new creation happens. So when the Vavashvat Manu came into existence, that time this knowledge was given by sun god to Vavashvat Manu. Okay, so if you calculate the age of the Vivashvat Manu currently, how much time has passed? 28 Yuga has passed. And each Yuga will be almost of 43 lakh years. So if you multiply it, then the statistics will come. That will be like 12 crore 4 lakh years. So in this present universal creation, this knowledge is there. This knowledge was being given 12 crore years before to the Vivashvat Manu. You know? And on the Earth planet, the Manu gave to the Ikshvaku that was being given 20 lakh years before. So this statistics is there. Is understandable? Calculation is understandable?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, fine.
Yes, correct.
This was the first shloka. Okay. Now next shloka, Krishna is now going to describe it why he needed to give this knowledge again. What was the need for him to give this knowledge again? एवं परंपरा प्राप्तम् इमं राजर्षयो विदुः सकाले नेहमन्ता योगो नष्टः परन्तप. Very beautiful shloka. Krishna is telling that, evam parampara praptam imam rajarshriyo vidu. So in this way, this knowledge was passed down by the means of the disciplic succession. To whom? To the Raj Rishis. Those who were the saintly kings, right? Raja and Rishi. Raja means the king, and Rishi means the sage. The proper translated is the saintly kings. So this knowledge was, in this way, this knowledge was passing by the means of parampara, that is disciplic succession. Now, among whom? Among the rulers. Right? Like we discussed, Vivashwan is giving to the Manu, Manu is giving to the Ikshvaku. So in this way, the rulers were the carriers, the rulers were the carriers of this knowledge. But what happened? Sa kalineha mahata yogo nashta parantapa. But this yoga, this knowledge was nashtaha. It got destroyed or it got deviated. Scattered. Proper translating is a scattered. Scattered means no. Oh, the, the right knowledge didn't remain. It became deviated. No? How it happened? So kalene hameta, right? Kalene means in the course of time. You know, this great science got deviated or scattered in the course of time. I gave this knowledge to the Rajarshis and it was coming down the line by the means of parampara, but due to the effect of the time, this knowledge got scattered. That is what Krishna is speaking here. No? The supreme science was just received through the chain of disciplic succession, and the saintly kings understood in that way, but in the course of time, the succession was broken. Therefore, the science as it is appears to be lost. Here you see, right? The one word which has come here is Rajarishi. Right? Rajarishi means Raja and Rishi, right? So Raja means the ruler. Generally, the kings, the duty of the king is to control the outer world. And the kings, by their power, by their prowess, they make such kind of systems to be able to control the outer world. They set some systems. Those who don't abide by the systems, they punish them, etc. Like that. So like that, they control the outer world, the outer people. And the sages, on the other hand, what is their responsibility? The sages, they learn or they practice mind control, they learn sense control, and in this way, they control their inner world. So when you say Raj Rishis means what? Those those saintly rulers who were having control over who were trying to control the outer world as well as the inner world. Which means because in other words, like they they were acting for the benefit of everyone because they were having full control over their inner world and they were also trying to control the outer world. That's why they were like best well wisher for everyone. They were not power hungry rulers because they were saintly. They were not ruling for the sake of their own benefits, but they were ruling for the benefit of the people. This is one thing which is being spoken here. And see now, yogo nashtaha. See this now, Krishna is speaking on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. This 5,000 years back. देखिए that time also Krishna is saying that this science appears to be lost. Like, Krishna is not speaking about our time. Krishna is speaking about his time, which means 5,000 years back in the time of Mahabharata. That time also Krishna is saying that now the science appears to be lost, which means the pure knowledge is no more prevalent. There's a lot of distractions. That's why we find sometimes many questions comes like, why there was a gambling match, why Vishnu and all they angry into the gambling match, or how can the Draupadi can be disturbed in such kind of cultured society? How can there be such kind of attempt like this? So see why? Because in that time also the science was almost lost. No, this culture and this spiritual culture, the science was almost getting lost. Now, of course, it has become much more worse. That's why Krishna said that Yugo Nashta Parantapa, right? This science it appears to be lost. This is the important thing, And another thing is here, Kale Neha. Kale Neha means because of the effect of time. You see, the nature of this world is anything by the effect of the time, it generally degrades. If you will leave something on its own, then the by the effect of the time, it will automatically degrade. Example is being given like, suppose if you take milk. Now, if you take milk, if you keep it for some time, it may change into the curd. After some time, it will get spoiled. It will be of no use. So by default, anything you take, it degrades. Right? You take a mobile, you take any, furniture. You find with the passage of the time, it will degrade. Some deepak will, some termites will eat it up, or otherwise it will lose its strength, it will become useless. That's the nature of the metal world. That everything degrades with time. And if you want to have some positive transformation with time, then you have to have a conscious effort. Just like in the same case of the milk. No, okay, curd has become, and if you don't take care of it, then it will get spoiled. But suppose if the curd is formed, and suppose if you're consciously making the curd, then what happens? Consciously, you can change the curd into the butter, and then you can also extract the ghee. So, if you want to bring a positive transformation, then you have to have a conscious effort. Otherwise, by the effect of time, everything degrades. That's the nature of this material world. So even Krishna's teachings also, they also don't remain in this world. They also get degraded by the effect of the time. They also get deviated. This is another thing. And one important thing to understand here, so one important emphasis here is, like Krishna said, Evam parampara praptam. That this knowledge is received in the parampara, like the disciple succession. So it's very important that and we have to also see in our life that we become the transparent carriers of the message of the parampara. We should not we should not deviate. We should we should not distract the message of the parampara. One should keep the message of the parampara intact. That's very very important because if the parampara will discontinue, then the real knowledge will not come to the people. And that's why we'll find Prabhupada will again and again hammer upon this point very, very much. That don't change. It's a Krishna Upadesh. Don't try to screw out any meaning out of it. Keep it as it is. Don't change the meaning and all. Because if you manipulate it, then the potency is being lost. Potency will be no more there. That's why preaching also, we may give some examples and all, but we have to see that the principle remains the same. The principle should not change. For the sake of making the audience excited and all, we may give some nice modern examples and all, but the principles, the philosophy should not get repeated. Many times, for the sake of getting some cheap recognition and all, people may people may try to cook up something which does not match with the philosophy. That is also another kind of impurity. If we want to get name, fame, and for that sake we want to change the philosophy itself. So that's not the right thing. Parampara has to be there. Only when the parampara will be there, then what will happen? The potency will be experienced. That's why, especially those people, those pure devotees, the authorized acharyas who are there, it is very important for us to hear their words, to read their words, because they are the pure carriers of the parampara. It is also this also comes in Srimad Bhagavatam, that how the pure devotees, when they speak, the sound vibrations coming from the pure devotee, no, that is what transforms the heart, because that contains some dust particles from the lotus feet of the Lord. Because the pure devotee's heart is situated uh, at the lotus feet of Krishna. So when they speak, then the dust particles from the Lord's lotus feet, they also come out of their mouth. And those dust particles, when they enter into our hearts by the means of our ears, then they bring transformation in the hearts. So, so more we hear from the more we hear from the authorized devotees, like in our terms, hearing from Prabhupada, hearing from our spiritual masters, reading Prabhupada books, what will happen? We will become more and more fixed up in the real knowledge, the real principles, and there will be very less chances of becoming distracted or deviated in our life. It's a very important thing. So one may present, when one is presenting, one may use good examples and all. Prabhupada mentions about it, I can show you one purport. What is the meaning of personal realization? Like when we speak, we should speak with realization. It has been mentioned. To speak with realization. So Prabhupada explains about what is the meaning of personal realization. Prabhupada explains this in 1.4.1. So Bhagavatam, I'll just read the main part, 1.4.1. See, here it comes. Any of you will want to read this, the highlighted part?
Sri Sonakrisi had all these qualifications, and thus he stood up to congratulate Sri Sud Goswami when he expressed his desire to present Srimad Bhagavatam exactly as he heard it from Sukadev Goswami and also realized it personally.
Yes, so
First,
one should speak the spiritual knowledge with realizations. So now, but what is the meaning of realizations? That is being explained here. So please go ahead.
personal realization does not mean that one should, out of vanity, attempt to show one's own learning by trying to surpass the previous acharya.
So it should not happen that we are trying to surpass the previous acharyas, which means what previous acharyas have, what meanings the previous acharyas have given, we are trying to concoct some own meanings. No, that should not happen. Further,
Uh, one must have full confidence in the previous acharya, and at the same time, one must realize the subject matter so nicely that he can present the matter for the particular circumstances in a suitable manner.
yes, so one should have full confidence in the previous acharya, which means what? Whatever the previous acharyas have told, that is perfect. And at the same time, one can realize the subject matter. One can practice that principles in his own life. One can get some more experiences, some realizations of that, and then he can present them in a manner which will be suitable for the audience as per the time, place, and circumstances. Right?
The original purpose of the text must be maintained. No obscure meaning should be screwed
Good out of it.
out of it, yet it should be presented in an interesting manner for the understanding of the audience. This is called realization.
Yes, right. So this is very important, right? The original purpose of the text means the shlokas, right? The original purpose, right? जो original purpose है उसका, जो principles में involved है, must be maintained. Like if it is telling that how Krishna is eternal, you don't say that Krishna is not eternal. No, the original principle must be maintained. No obscure meaning should be screwed out. Yet it should be presented in interesting manner for the understanding of the audience. This is called as the realization. Realization does not mean that speaking of own things, but realization means to speak of the same principles, but in an interesting manner by which people can understand about it. That is what Prabhupada is mentioning here. This is 1.4.1 purport. This is very important, parampara praptam, right? That if you want to experience real knowledge, then we have to follow the parampara. And Prabhupada was very strong about it. And indeed, you will find Prabhupada himself will also read his own books, or Prabhupada will also hear his own lectures, right? Because Prabhupada knew that these are not my words, these are the words of Krishna. And because they are the words of Krishna, they have potency. They can give solace to everyone's soul if somebody hears from them. And so in the purport, if you find, Prabhupada is very happy about all the misinterpretations of the Bhagavad Gita. Please read this blue part, purport.
There are
And when,
innumerable interpretations rendered by different mundane scholars, but almost all of them do not accept the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, although they make a good business on the words of Sri Krishna. This spirit is demonic because demons do not believe in God, but simply uh, enjoy the property of the Supreme. Since there is a great need of an edition of the Gita in English, as It is received by the parampara, disciplic succession system. An attempt is made herewith to fulfill this great want.
So it's a demonic spirit Prabhupada is mentioning. Yeah. So Prabhupada is very heavily criticizing about the misinterpretations. So now if there are misinterpretations, then what happens? Then there will be no more potency. The purpose will be lost. So, so Krishna is saying that even in that time there were misinterpretations. Even that time the message was dissolved. What to speak of now? Now so many ways Bhagavad Gita is being misinterpreted. Like like some commentator, like one commentator he has written that purpose of the Bhagavad Gita is ahimsa, non-violence. But now if you see Bhagavad Gita, very few places ahimsa is being spoken. Otherwise, the very purpose of the Bhagavad Gita is to incite Arjuna to fight, to do violence or dharma. But many commentators they come to this kind of conclusion, right? Another commentator, what is his conclusion? He says that how Indians they missed to understand the Bhagavad Gita, else would have destroyed Pakistan in 24 hours. He says that Bhagavad Gita means violence, violence for dharma, and if Indians would have understood it, then they would have destroyed the Pakistan in 24 hours. Like that is another person says, another commentator of Bhagavad Gita, you see many freedom fighters, now when they were being put inside the jail during the British times, because then they will write on the Bhagavad Gita. Because Bhagavad Gita is a famous book, so they will, in the name of the Bhagavad Gita, they will present their own philosophy. So another person commented like that. Another person wrote in his Bhagavad Gita. So he has concocted Bhagavad Gita in this particular manner. He says that how the adharma represents the British rule, the British colonies. That represents the adharma. And the Indian National Congress, the Congress Party, it is an incarnation of Krishna to annihilate the British rule, that it is misinterpreting like that. So Prabhupada was very heavy against all these kind of speculations and misinterpretations. Huh. See, why it is so? Like one good example Chaitanya was giving. You see, suppose suppose some lecture is going on, some lecture is organized, and there's a speaker there, and there's an audience there, and also suppose speaker, he knows only English. He's going to speak in only. He does not understand. The audience is Hindi, let us say, and the speaker he only knows English. So now suppose he goes there and he starts speaking in English. So nobody in the audience can understand because they are all Hindi people. And same thing because he does not also understand Hindi. The speaker cannot understand what audience wants. So in this situation, what can help is, okay, suppose if someone is there who knows both English as well as Hindi, then what he can do? He can do the translation, isn't it? So the translator he can hear English from the speaker, and then he can tell to the audience about what the speaker is wanting to tell in Hindi. Now, but suppose the translator, now if the translator is giving something of his own, the speaker is something else in English, okay, but the translator is translating it into something else, he's concocting something of his own. Then what will happen? Now the audience is ignorant. They don't know about English, so they may accept it and all. But now if somebody is there in the audience who understands English and who also understand the Hindi, then he can immediately make out that the translator is not giving a proper translatory. No, what speaker is telling is completely different from what the translator is telling, isn't it? And can he shut up? He cannot shut up. No, he will violate. No, he will rebel against it. That why you are telling like this? Why you are participating like that? Now the people, those who are the audience is there, they may think, "Arey, why? What is the need of why you are why you are becoming angry and all? Let him translate and all." But no, he understand that no, that is not the original thing what the speaker is telling. Speaker is telling something else. This translator is translating into something else. That is what exactly is the mood of Prabhupada. Prabhupada becomes very wild by hearing other commentaries. Reason being because Prabhupada is knowing. Prabhupada understands what Krishna means to say. But then there are some other translators, commentators who are speaking their own things. That is not acceptable. Now, those who are ignorant, they can accept anything and everything. For them, it will not mind. They will not mind. But for Krishna, he is not satisfied. For Prabhupada and some great souls like Prabhupada, they're not satisfied with such kind of translations. Prabhupada will say that, if you want to speak your own things, then okay, like suppose the speaker is there. Suppose the translator, who is misinterpreting. Okay, if he want to say something, okay, he can organize his own program and he can speak and let audience come, whoever wants to come and hear him. But he should not portray it. I am translating what the speaker is telling, and then he's giving his own things. Same way, many people. In the name of Bhagavad Gita, they are giving their own interpretation in the society. Somebody is saying that non-violence is the goal. Somebody is telling the health is the goal. Ayurveda is the goal. This is all bogus. Because the goal of the Bhagavad Gita is very clearly mentioned again and again in the Gita. It is meant to help people surrender to Krishna, to develop love and devotion to Krishna. Pray to Krishna. That is the goal of the Bhagavad Gita. That's the Prabhupada is mentioned it how. That we should not concoct the meaning. So Krishna is also telling it how. So was being received in the Parampara system. More shloka we can. Third shloka. Again, Krishna is further explaining about this knowledge. Sa evayam maya tevya yoga prokta puratana bhaktosi me sakha sheti rahasyam hi etaduttamam. So in this shloka, Krishna is telling that the same knowledge, Arjuna, I am giving this knowledge to you today. What is the reason? What is your qualification? Krishna is mentioning about those qualifications. Sa evayam maya tevya yoga prokta puratana. This puratana means it's very ancient yoga, the knowledge I am giving to you today. Why? Because bhaktosi me sakhajati, because you are my devotee, because you are my friend. That's why I am giving this rahasya, this uttamam. Uttamam is very topmost, the topmost rahasya, the topmost confidential knowledge I am giving to you, Arjuna, because you are my devotee and you are my friend. That's how Krishna is. That's how Krishna is mentioning to Arjuna about this thing. उत्तम मतलब होता है कि जो तमो तमा मतलब होता है कि ignorance या darkness. So something which takes you away from darkness, that is called as uttamam. तो बस से बाहर निकाल के आता है. So, that very ancient science of relationship with the Supreme is today told by me to you because you are my devotee as well as my friend and can therefore understand the classical history of this science. You see here one important thing. See, every field requires certain qualifications. किसी भी फील्ड में आप जाना चाहते हो तो उसके लिए there's a need of some qualifications. Like, for example, like let us say suppose you have to travel with a train and you don't take a ticket and you sit in a train, okay? And when the TTC come, he asks you that, okay, where is the ticket? And you say, Arey, you don't know who I am? I have studied from IIT. I was a topper in IIT. Okay, that is all right, but where is the ticket? Oh, you don't know? No, I topped all the 4 years. I was a gold medalist. So that is good, but what about the ticket? Oh, you don't know? I was the one who got the best campus placement. Everyone knows about it. So that is all right, but where is the ticket? If you are traveling in the train, then what is the qualification required out of you is you need to have a ticket. You cannot say that okay, you are a gold medalist or you have this placement, that placement, or that those qualifications are also good ones, but they are not the qualifications for you to travel inside the train. Same way, now for every field, there's a certain expectation of a qualification. You may have some other metal qualifications, but for that field, you need certain sort of qualifications. If you don't have them, then you're not qualified to have that. The same way, here Krishna is saying that how, no, why Arjuna, you are having this qualification to understand this knowledge. Why? Because you are my devotee and my friend. So, metal qualities, they are not the qualifications to understand Krishna. No, by material qualifications, okay, you may be very austere or you may be very Sanskrit scholar, just like another example open here is, suppose, we all know about quantum physics. There's a subject called as quantum physics. There's a part of physics called as quantum physics. Now, suppose some English professor is there. Okay, he says that, oh, I know English, so I know quantum physics. Does it hold true? Just because you are an English professor, can you also claim that you can also understand the quantum, you can also know everything about the quantum physics? No, both of them are different fields. The knowledge of English may be good, but then quantum physics is a different field. Just because of being a English professor does not qualify you to understand quantum physics. Anyway, if somebody has Sanskrit scholarship, one knows very nice technical Sanskrit and all, or one may be very austere also. But these are not the qualifications required for one to understand the knowledge of the Bhagavad Gita. The qualification required is itself spoken by Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita in this particular shloka. Those qualifications is that one has to be a devotee of Krishna, and one has to be also a friend of Krishna. One has to have a friendly spirit towards Krishna, not envy towards Krishna. Because you see, even in our life, uh, who do we reveal our secrets? Can we reveal it to anyone and everyone, or do we reveal it to someone, whom we trust? Right? We reveal our secrets to only someone whom we trust. Trust means what? Friendship. Trust means what? The love. So that's why only one who loves Krishna, who trusts Krishna, who has friendship with Krishna, he can only understand the message of the Bhagavad Gita. Because see, Bhagavad Gita is the knowledge of Krishna. And see, Krishna is the infinite. The Supreme Lord is infinite. His knowledge is also infinite. And we being jivas, we are very finite. We are very tiny. Now, for a finite thing to understand about the infinite, how it is possible? There's only one case when it is possible. If the infinite agrees to reveal himself to the finite. If the Supreme Lord agrees to reveal himself to the finite, then only finite can understand. Otherwise, finite can never understand about the infinite. And for that to happen, what is the qualification required? That is being spoken here as that is one has to be a devotee, which means one has to have a bhakti. As Krishna is also going to reveal further. Bhakti is the qualification by which we can understand this knowledge, not by other means. So again, Prabhupada is commenting the purport, same thing. Please, some of you can read this purport, yellow blue part.
There are a number of editions of this great book of knowledge. Some of them have a commentaries by the devotees, and some of them have a commentaries by the demons. Commentation by the devotees is real, whereas that of the demon is useless. Arjuna accepts Sri Krishna as the supreme person of Godhead, and any comment on the Gita following in the footsteps of Arjuna is real devotional service to the cause of this great science.
Prabhupada says that how this knowledge was given to Arjuna, and if you want to also understand the Bhagavad Gita, then you also have to have the mood of the Arjuna, which is the mood of devotion, the mood of that is what being spoken. I think we are done with these three shlokas today. Time is also not up. I think we can invite some, if there are some questions, we can discuss about them. Otherwise, I will just revise. Yeah, here's Sumant Prabhu, please.
Hare Krishna, Puji, please accept my message.
Yes, please.
Puji, I just want to know about the personal license Puji which you just shared. Puji, we have just observed that there is difference between focus and introducing new things. Like for example, Puji, we can see that there are different focus of morning program in different temple, Vrindavan, Pune, right? Kanpur. They are different, even Noida, Ujjain. They have different morning programs starting them as well. This is like focus. Like focusing on different aspect of teaching. But Puri, when we see Madhvendra Puri and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they've introduced something new which is not given by previous acharya. It is not a different of focus. So how do we understand that these are not deviation but personalization?
You are telling that something is being introduced by Madhvendra Puri and who else you told?
And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Okay.
Madhvendra Puri introduced Radha Krishna worship. Before Madhvendra Puri, there is no Radha Rani. I should say like Madhvacharya, one disciple, then Madhvendra Puri comes. So that disciple of Madhvacharya introduces Radharani, and Madhvendra Puri received that Radharani worship from him. But that deviation comes from Madhvacharya. When we go to Udupi Mutt, you will not see Radharani in picture anywhere, right? So
Okay, so I think question is clear to all of us, right? That we do find, in essence, we do find that there are some acharyas, some great souls who introduce some system which may not be which may not be seen previously, which were not there previously, right? That is the function of an acharya. The first thing is who can be accepted as an acharya? One who is coming in the parampara and who is also sometimes revealed in the authorized scriptures also. Like we know about Prabhupada. But Prabhupada, there's a tradition by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself. There's a tradition by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So, same way, like we were talking about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, there's so much tradition about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he's being the Lord. So the role of the acharya is what? The role of the acharya is that as per the time, place, and circumstance, as per the current time, place, and circumstance, they formulate some ways by which the bhakti can be digested by the people. Bhakti can be practiced by the people. That's why the acharyas are important because the same principles we cannot follow. Like for example, like previously the principle was was of Vairagya. Chetan Mahaprabhu does not even want to meet Pratapruddha Maharaj. Why? Because Pratapruddha Maharaj is a king. But now you see here we are in the ISKCON now. Our sannyasis they are going trying to like just now this Udgar festival was there. We invited some big politicians. Now we are trying to get some big people, big shots. Our sannyasis are meeting them. Right? Because so is this is a deviation? No. Why it is not a deviation? We see Prabhupada. Prabhupada was meeting with many big people, George Harrison and all those people. So why it is not a deviation? Because the acharyas who are there, they have that kind of empowerment by the Lord that they can change some certain things based upon the time, place, and the circumstances. And like for example, like for this aspect, so Rupa Goswami he gave the principle of Yukta Vairagya, which can be followed for this particular period of time. Prabhupada knows that what will work now. So, so the principles are same. The principles are they know that like sannyasi may also go to meet some big person, but he's not going for his own sake. He's going for the sake of giving, for spreading Krishna consciousness. He's not going for his own personal sake. He'll find. One thing is that how some great souls or the acharyas they are being empowered by the Lord, and about their empowerment, the tradition is also there already. That's why we can accept them. And at the end of the day, you see what is the end result. The end result is what they are able to give Krishna consciousness to the people. They are able to spread on a very bigger level. It's not about a focus. The principles will remain the same, but the application of the principles as per the current scenario has to be devised. And that is why the role of the Acharya is very important. Because he devises the ways by which one can do bhakti in the kind of. Another example, like Prabhupada. Prabhupada gave the system of 16 rounds chanting. Previous to it, Prabhupada's special master gave him 64 rounds of chanting, right? Why? Why? Because as per the time place circumstances, Acharya is having that kind of. But see, for us as a practicing soul, we don't have to bother about it. We cannot say that you are doing some follow up. You said it, okay, Bhuji. Just like Prabhupada reduce it to 16 rounds. I'm finding that there are some followers who are not able to chant 16 also. Let us make a rule for them 8 rounds. No, you're not an acharya. You're not authorizing the shastras. You are not an empowered person. You cannot do that. But they can.
Puji, Hare Krishna. Puji, one more thing, like we can see that a sadhu gives anything which is given in the scripture only. So, like our, like as Puji mentioned that Radharani worship, it is given in the Shastra, but earlier it was not there, and then later it came. So it is according to the Shastra also. It's
Actually,
not a
what is
deviation.
see what we are following is the Gaudiya Parampara.
Hmm.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he comes, he manifests the Gaudiya Parampara. This Gaudiya Parampara is not manifest in every Divi Yoga. This is a very special Divi Yoga. Where
Hmm.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes and he reveals Radharani. Radharani is very confidential. The worship of Radha Krishna together is very confidential. That's why, see, at one level, we do say that we are from Madhvaites, but actually we are not Madhvaites. Because the parampara is Gaudiya, it's a different
Gaudiya.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's parampara, which is manifested especially in this Divi Yoga for giving the Braja Bhakti.
Hmm.
So that is also another explanation about it.
Correct. Thanks.
Mangu, does it answer your question?
Yes, Puri, but I just feel, Puri, that you correct me, Puri. Like we are saying that Gaudiya Parampara is manifested. So similarly, other Parampara will also that we are also manifested. So we have, I think, after you answer that, we should not comment on others, but we should very diligently follow our Parampara.
Okay, so see, how can we believe that the other paramparas are authoritative? Because there's a mention in the Shastras. I can show you there's a quotation about what are the four sampradayas and who will be the acharyas into that. There's a quotation in the Puran. There's a reference for those paramparas. They're not concocted. They're not concocted. They also are authorized paramparas. And ours is also authorized. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is also like manifest such kind of bhakti. That is also being mentioned in the Shastras. So see, ultimately, everything has to have a basis in the Shastras. If something is not having basis in the Shastras, then what will happen? See, the principle has to be from the Shastra. The details of their application, that may be varying. That the Acharya may change as per the time and circumstances. But the principle has to be there, right? Like, for example, the principle is of chanting the names of the Lord. That principle is there. Krishna also spoke about it. Satatam kirtayanto mam, right? But now, how much to chant? Now, as per the time and circumstances, the Acharya's roles comes to, tell, okay, you can chant 16 rounds or you can chant 4 rounds. So it's there about four paramparas also. It is mentioned in Shastras and about our Gaudiya parampara, how this manifests. There is also mentioned about it. Everything has a base in the Shastras.
Yes, Puri.
Okay. So I think time is up now. Devotees can feel free to continue. And if somebody has question, I can take for some more time. Thank you so much.
Hello, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhan Pranam.
Yes, Guru.
Yes, Prabhuji. So my question is, what is total age of one Chatur Yoga? Means the one this Kali Yuga is 4
It's
lakh
very simple. It's
32,000.
very simple. The Kaluga is of 4,32,000 years. How much?
Yes, Prabhuji.
4 lakh.
4 lakh 32,000.
इससे जो previous वाला जो yoga था, it was Dwapar yoga. Sorry,
Mm-hmm.
Dwapar yoga. It is 2 times. It
Okay.
will be 8.64. 8
Yes.
8,64,000. Now उससे
Mm-hmm.
पहले वाला जो त्रेता युग था, it will be 3 times of this 4,30,000. Three time will be almost something around I think 12 lakh something. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and the Satyuga is 4 times. Right? Kaluga ही देखिए reference point है. Kaluga 2 times is the previous yuga, that is Dwapar yuga. 3 times is the Treta yuga, and 4 times is the Satyuga. 4 plus 3
Okay.
plus 2 plus 1. How much it will come? 10. 10 into
Mm-hmm.
4,30,000 will be 43,20,000 years.
Mm-hmm.
The total
Okay. Okay.
the total Divyuga's age is how much? 43,20,000 years.
Okay. Okay.
Prabhupada is not mentioned about 20,000 years. Prabhupada is roughly
Mm.
rounded up to 43 lakh years. है ना?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Anything else?
Thank
हरे
you,
कृष्णा
bro.
प्रभु, हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी, प्रणाम प्रणाम प्रभु। प्रभु जी, this is mentioned that भक्तो असी में सखा चेती, तो you have to be devotee to understand Bhagavad Gita. But in our case, like in my case, I cannot say that I am a full devotee. Like we are trying to be devotee. So उस चीज से कितना फर्क पड़ेगा हमारे अंडरस्टैंडिंग में कि लाइक हम अगर उत्तम अधिकारी बनते हैं तो ज्यादा समझ में आएगा, अगर कनिष्ठ अधिकारी हैं तो कम समझ में आएगा, ये सब रहता है क्या प्रभु जी इसमें? या फिर अगर हम प्रभुपाद जी से सुन रहे हैं तो पूरा ही समझ में आएगा, इसमें क्या रहता है प्रभु जी?
तो see, भक्तों सी में मतलब कि one should have attitude of devotion for me. Right? One should not have envy for me. Prabhupada writes in the introduction, Prabhupada लिखते भी हैं कि at least one should theoretically understand that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. If you want to understand Bhagavad Gita, at least you should have a theoretically you should understand that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, and you are insignificant person. So when we say bhakto means what? We should have an attitude of devotion for Krishna. Means one should not envy Krishna. One should not take Krishna as an ordinary person. If one takes Krishna as an ordinary person, there's no much difference between Krishna is speaking and anyone else speaking about it. And so Krishna's position is that so Bhakta means one who accepts Krishna's position as a supreme Lord, and one understands one's own significance, and one is ready to, with an open ear, one is ready to accept Krishna's instruction. That is the meaning of the Bhakta. So yes, so if we are at least if we are this that we understand our insignificant position, we are open to hear Krishna's version, then we'll understand Bhagavad Gita. It's not that we have to become Uttam Adhikari, then only we can understand Bhagavad Gita. But like that. Bhakta means one is favorably inclined to Krishna. That is called as a Bhakta. You can understand Bhagavad Gita.
Yes प्रभु जी, थैंक यू प्रभु जी, अंडरस्टूड।
Anything else? If Krishna will wait for us to become Uttam Adhikari, then we can understand Bhagavad Gita, then it will be like not a very compassionate Krishna, isn't it? Right? Krishna compassion is that okay, irrespective of your disqualifications, you can understand me, you can appreciate devotion for me, and you can become devoted to me. That's Krishna's compassionate nature. Okay, anything else? I think Sanshila Prabhupada ki गौर भर करेंगे की